Hello everyone. This is Vedant, and Niti will be your host and co-host for this session. Let's just welcome speaker for this presentation, Sumit Nagal from Intuit. I will be just giving a brief introduction for Sumit Nagal. So, he is a principal engineer at Intuit. He's a maintainer and contributor to many open source projects. He is an engineer for the productivity group as a part of core services group in Intuit. He has played various roles, including architect and developer, and leading numerous successful initiatives and innovations. So before moving forward, let me just tell you, in case you have any questions with the presentation, you can always reach to us in session chats as well as Q&A. And if you want to interact with the speaker, you can always do a raise hand. We will be inviting you to the stage for interacting with the speaker. And the unanswered questions can also be taken to the Slack channels. We have already shared the Slack URLs with you. So yeah, I hope you enjoy and learn with us. And don't forget, we are here to learn and enjoy. So yeah, over to you, Smith.
Thanks, Vedant. Thanks, Niti. Let me know if you are able to see my screen.
Yes.
It's all good?
Yes.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for being part of Chaos Carnival. Today, I will be talking about evolution in chaos engineering. Gone are the days when we live in a stone age. We have gone through the most significant evolution in human. We all are part of that. Today, similar shift is happening in chaos engineering, where in past, with the minimal visibility with a tool like Chaos Monkey on AWS, we have very small and finite solution, where today we have Pandora of chaos tools around, as well as there are a lot of culture as well as the process shift is happening in chaos engineering. So I'm Sumit. I'm principal engineer working as an Intuit, who are proud maker of TurboTax, QuickBooks, and Mint. Intuit powering prosperity around the world, and prosperity could be in any firm. I've been using Chaos Resiliency from last couple of years, and these are few technologies and tools I've been using and I have implemented. Though my actual evolution or my actual journey with the Chaos started when Russ Miles visited Intuit campus on one of the Chaos tours. Today I'm wearing the same t-shirt is talking about Geek on Harley of a Chaos tool. That's how I would say that my evolution started. And right now I'm building many use cases on those Chaos toolkit, and that Chaos toolkit is now part of Litmus Chaos, where we are bringing our own framework. I'm a contributor as well as a maintainer for Litmus Chaos as well as many of the projects. So briefly talk about the agenda. I will share my perspective of evolution, what's the definition for the evolution, and how this evolution is being happening in the technology, in cloud, in application, as well as in services. Then I will try to correlate with how this is impacting or how this one is related to the chaos, and what is the reason why chaos has been introduced, why the outages, failures are happening, and what is the opportunity we have for chaos. I will also talk about the current state of the chaos and what is the integration or attachment with the chaos with the various dev tools. I will talk about the current or present the state as well as how the future road might look like. With all that, let me start with the core concept of evolution. In human, we have seen and we have gone through this evolution which took centuries. These are the time when we used to be app and we used to live in Stone Age, and now we being started using and trying to making most significant changes. A similar shift is happening in chaos engineering, where we have initially been very minimal tooling, now the Pandora of tools being open. Today, Litmus Chaos, Chaos Toolkit, Chaos Mesh, Gremlin, Chaos IQ, StudyBit, like many solutions available. Though human evolution was very slow, but the chaos engineering evolution is happening with rapid speed. So when I looked into the definition of a evolution, I found that evolution talk about the growth, it talk about the development, and then building on that growth and development, how you are learning from the past organism. So you need to have a need for a growth. You need to nurture that and build on a specific favorable environment where you have opportunity for learning, and building on top of that will help you to create evolution. Let me take a step back and talk about that, why the evolution is happening, because evolution is happening around. Internet has grown from a leaps and bounds in last 30 years, and it is expected to grow in similar fashion. We have so many handheld devices. Those will be using as well as the computer. These will be using applications, services, and many more which serve the content. They all are growing. They are growing leaps and bounds. The users are growing leaps and bounds. And all those are right now going to cloud, where we have biggest growth on the three cloud provider. We have most of services have this internet presence and being hosted on public, private clouds. Moving to cloud has a lot more positivity. It brings a lot of goodies, availability, stability, but nothing comes free. It has its own challenges, and everything with some kind of limitation and opportunity to improvise. Though this growth is really exciting, it has a lot of rare challenges. And today I will be talking more about that how the cloud space increasing and how the application services growth increasing and how it is impacting and creating the evolution to the chaos. Now, anything which is growing, which doesn't have the revenue or the money part involved, we really don't see a value on that. These are the some numbers, and by the way, these all are market research, and these are the uh, many of the document available on the internet, and I will share the links also. So from 2010 to 2020, we have almost grown in revenue on this internet application services 6 times, and we are expected to grow even further in next 5 years, almost more than double. So what that mean? And today we all are going through this COVID pandemic, where we are not going or stepping out from our home, and we are still able to do most of the grocery at home, most of the shopping at home. What that has created, that has added more and more on using cloud-based services. This is the power of this era. No one could have imagined in past. No one could have imagined that we are going that much on cloud or that much as a services. Now, as many things are being hosted in cloud and services, we see a lot of outages, we see failures, and as more and more services are going on a cloud, they are something or other in terms of failure. And these are one view of the very known brand, known services, known technology provider, known cloud provider. When they are failing, the failure is around. So there are many services, they do get outages on almost on a daily basis, and there are something like the portals available which talk about that, give a complete visibility that where the failure is around. If you go to these portals, you could see that it is all the globe, it is all around, something or other have something outage going. So how we quantify that? Gartner mentioned that average cost for a downtime is $5,600 per minute. And if we go for 1 hour outage for a whole year, we have close to 300K of revenue loss. Let me just take a step back. To achieve 4 nines, you have 52 minutes of downtime. To achieve 5 nines, you have close to 5 minutes of downtime. So even if you achieve 5 minutes of downtime, you still have to pay 30K or as a revenue loss. Now, how we can see that impact of these outages? As I mentioned and I shared in the previous screen, that you have revenue loss. But is that the only thing? No. Impact is beyond revenue, which sometimes is not at all measurable. And sometimes it will have a long-term effect. There are loss in productivity in terms of support, in terms of fix, in terms of rollout, rollback, the compliance cost for clearing that part, brand damage, as well as the next day you will see how stock price will be hit. Outages are going. You could see that from 2010 to 2016, it has grown and impacted the revenue significantly. And none of the industry has been left out from this. It is everywhere. And everyone needs to come together and work for that. They need to see how we can handle those. During this time, Werner Vogel has shared that failures are a given and everything will eventually fail over a time. So failures are inevitable. We cannot avoid them. We need to handle them. And how we handle is one of the things which Chaos Engineering provides. You probably might be thinking that by this time I provided so much information and this talk is all about evolution and chaos, where that part is coming. So here we go. Based on the analysis till now for 96% enterprise outages, they figure it out that more than 51% of outages could be avoidable. 51% is huge. The number which I shared, if we are able to save that, we have a lot more productivity. We have a lot more money to spend on more important work. We have maintained our brand. So you could see that it's a huge opportunity for us to ensure that we do something in this analysis. So I dig one step further and try to figure it out that what are the top reasons for these outages? Top reasons for outages are known most of the time in the network and spike or human error or software malfunction. These are the top needle mover. So we have an opportunity to solve for these use cases, and it would be really nice if we have some solution so that we can simulate these kind of scenarios so that they won't actually happen in production. So in 2004, Master of Disaster J.C. Robbins shared that every dollar we spend, we have to learn. And we spend a lot of money in terms of failure and outages. So there is a definite learning for us. And most of the places I have seen that when we have incident, when we have failure, we do root cause. And the root cause is giving us opportunity to identify where and what we can do so that it won't come in the future. How we can prevent in the future is the key. So let's take some shifts and talk about what is chaos. So to explain this, as we all know that picture speaks 1,000 words, and this is one of the very famous picture of a disaster girl meme. And this picture talk about the chaos engineering core principle and how we can carry out the chaos. We all are part of one or other fire drill in our corporate life. So we know that when fire drills we are doing, all that part is happening. So in this scenario, there was a real fire drill happening, and there is a home has been donated to fire department so that fire department can carry out a fire drill. Now, when they were doing this, they have actually invited the residents, families, as well as kids. And the kids and others are watching this event from the outside. And this is the time the picture has been taken that this girl was smiling, even the house was burning. So, what is chaos engineering? Chaos engineering is the same concept, doing some experiment on a system to get the confidence so that we can handle those turbulent conditions when actually it happen in a life. This is principle of chaos. Let me take a step back and try to simplify this, that how you can understand the basic chaos, and then I will talk about the analogy and evolution. To understand the chaos basic, I will use fire drill as one of the option. So we have to build a use case. In this, fire in a home and how to simulate fire in a home is as a use case for that. And then how we can restore that without impacting resource, home, human life, as well as infra. For that, we need a playground or the experiment, which I just now shared. Now we need to make a hypothesis that everything is intact, everything is around. We have the house and all the other setup available. We will create and simulate fire in the home, and then after restoration, we will ensure that no human loss, no infra loss, and we were able to restore the situation. If everything goes fine, we are able to control, no impact is happening, we call that as a success. If there is something, it will be a learning experience for us, opportunity, and we learn and improvise how we can do. And that's how most of the fire drills are happening, and they are learning from that. Now, fire department, you think about as a solution or think about a framework which take this specific scenario, carrying out, and this part, all the bells and whistles for setting up the person's water hoses, the vehicle, all those things come as a setup to interface the water cannon or the other fire extinguishers, putting as become an interface, and the individual who's actually carrying out this become the executor. So in a sense, this specific scenario is very, very correlated to the chaos engineering, and we are living and breathing that or most of our life because we have been part of one or another fire drill. Now, the same concept, if I try to converge or put it in a chaos engineering framework with using one of the existing solution and tool, I can think about an application is up and that application has been load balanced with the node, and node is running some pod, and we probably have 3 pods running for a specific service, which is exposed as a load behind the load balancer and exposed as a endpoint. And we can go and try to do the similar experiment. Among 3 instances, can we go and delete 1 instance? So that become one of our use case. To validate the pre-state, I can go and check either number of instances or the health of that endpoint. This will ensure that before doing anything, my system and the service is up. I can inject a chaos using a deleting a pod or terminate a node, and then I will go back and validate that hypothesis that my health check is up, and I'm able to get the required number of instances. And this, if it pass, if I'm able to get the same state what it was pre, I will call this experiment as a pass. If not, I will call that as a fail. This is what a principle of chaos means. that how I can put a discipline of experimenting on a system in order to build confidence in the system capability to withstand turbulent condition in the production. Now, this use case, if I put on any of the solution what we are having in the Chaos Carnival and Chaos space, then that's what we call as a chaos engineering. So we pick this specific use case, we pick any of the framework solution and tool. We have many right now, and we do this framework or solution to be set up on either Kubernetes or on a system or somewhere. And then we invoke through a custom resources, API, command line, and rather validate the execution of that with the pre and post and find the report. And that's what we are talking about chaos engineering. So it is so simple, so easy to get started and using one of your favorite tool and start doing that. So now let me take a shift on that. What's the current state of the chaos engineering? Why I see this as an evolution? The main reason I think is happening is that awareness. I think there are a lot of awareness happening on the chaos engineering. In 2016, if you search for chaos engineering, you would probably get close to 2,000 searches. Today morning, I ran the search and I was able to get 65,000 searches on Google about chaos engineering. This is real growth. And why this is happening is I will try to cover that. So in 2004, Adrian, today was a very good keynote from Adrian, and I have attended his many of the previous conference talks, and this was the one which he shared in 2018 at the Chaos Conf, where he talked about the journey of chaos in this industry from 2004. Then Netflix brought the Chaos and Chaos family, where there are a lot of easy to terminate and the node rebalancing and zone failures being carried out. And then Netflix has created Symbian army on that. And then Gremlin has been formed, which is doing failure as a service. And then Chaos Toolkit has been came in the open source, and there is a new book published. So there were a lot of things happened till 2017 and 18. Which has actually started this evolution. So from 2017-18, with these bare minimal tool, CNCF has come in picture. There are many sandbox tools has been there on a chaos landscape. Litmus Chaos, Chaos Mesh, StudyBit, along with the Gremlin, Chaos Toolkit, and Chaos Monkeys and whatnot. Then Chaos Toolkit has also created a Chaos IQ, another reliability framework. And then very recently in AWS reInvent, AWS FIS, which is a fault inject simulator. There were very good talks happening on this. I would encourage to go and attend. So what that means, there is a whole shift is happening on the tooling, the awareness, and the scenarios. And there is an opportunity. There is a definite opportunity because we wanted to save 51% of incident or downtime which we could avoid. So from the core state where we were carrying out earlier very AWS specific cloud with the small platform from Netflix and carrying out certain application chaos, today we have various kind of chaos available. I just shared that AWS Fish was one of them. GCP, Azure, all the cloud provider, we have either extension or APIs or some meaning to carry out the experiment. Platform, there is a huge growth happening on the Kubernetes, and for Kubernetes to be have for the chaos, there are so many extensions as well as APIs available. Many cloud native services, as we are moving more, we need to ensure that they all become resilient. Those are the use cases we are able to find. There are operating system, network failure. Today in morning, there was a talk from about database chaos, storage, EBS, Open EBS, supported apps like Kafka, NoSQL. There are so many use cases are happening apart from the application. So we know for sure the use cases are growing. If I'm able to see around in the chaos landscape, more than 100 plus scenarios has been available for do, which take care about the pod, node, instance, network, IO, Kafka, the core DNS. There are many things. And now, even for the cloud provider, there are scenarios, there are use cases has been carried out. So what that mean? There is a need, there are solution, and there is an opportunity. Now we have to do integration of that. And the integration is not only for the chaos or chaos engineering, but integration is that chaos is becoming a citizen, a first class citizen for the DevOps tool set. Today morning, and I didn't mention that the security and the cyber is also one of the very important aspect of being impacted in the production. So security chaos engineering has started last year, and there are books also came out. Observability, now if you are not able to measure, you won't be able to improve. So having chaos with the observability is really important, and we have seen that most of the solution have some kind of integration with that. If you don't have anything as part of pipeline, you probably miss out. So having chaos engineering, chaos as a quality gate as part of your pipeline will ensure that you will take your product with the chaos certification. There is a captain integration happen very recently with the chaos. I think that is also one of the needle mover. There are many team and solutions. They are not only building one chaos, but they are building workflow. Even I have shared the Ergo, one of Intuit open source framework, with one of the chaos toolkit along with the Litmus chaos. GitOps with the chaos is also a reality where you can have configuration being put it in the Git, and then you can invoke the chaotic operation only when you have some annotation being there. Those who wanted to participate, they can participate. Those who don't want, they can avoid that. So it's more about that being a GitOps on your chaos. And many of the DevOps tools like Slack, PagerDuty, and various many more are being out of box get integration. This is a next level. Now, how we can get started and be part of this evolution? I would start with that. To know anything, to get into something, you have to understand that subject. Books are the great place or great starting point. These are few of the books which I highly recommend if you wanted to be part of this evolution, if you wanted to be part of the chaos journey. This will give you and guide you that how you can get started, and I will talk about the maturity model from where you can go and get started on that. So you probably by thinking that my organization is not talking about chaos. So what if they call as a game day? What they call it is a chaos day? What they call is out as a breaking things in production, or reliability engineering, preparing for outages, FMEA. All those things are avatar of a chaos or chaos engineering, where by some mean we are carrying out same or similar stuff. On chaos, I had attended one interesting talk from Dev Rensin from Google, who talk about chaos in people system, which talk about that you have a dependent engineer, and if that dependent engineer is disappear for one day, you won't be able to communicate, you won't be able to reach out. How you will handle that? You have dependency of tool, and that tool has been almost outdated for a day. These are the new processes or new definition coming out from chaos, And chaos I see is becoming a little bit more on the verb side from the noun. And as these changes are happening, it brings a lot of value in the industry. There are many jobs has been created on reliability, on chaos. There are architects of reliability, architects of chaos. In this conference, there are so many chaos engineers are there. We have more than 200 plus GitHub repositories where more than 16,000 plus GitHub stars. Many conferences has been started or being running. Chaos Carnival is also part of this evolution. We have many communities on chaos across the globe as happening, and they all talking about how we can make chaos engineering and how we can make the chaos as part of our DNA. Many meetups are happening, and in fact CNCF has more than 8 projects as a sandbox on the chaos engineering on their landscape. This is huge. Social media presence on Twitter, LinkedIn, and other platforms also create a lot of presence of chaos and chaos engineering. And last but not least, many of the chaos engineering solutions are there in open source. This is evolution. From nowhere, we have so many things are happening. So, if you think that I need to start on chaos, how I can go and how I can get started on this. So there are two models, and this is being mentioned in the chaos engineering book, that there is a sophistication and there is an adoption. To anything to start, you start simple, nimble, very elementary, and you have to go and build on top of that. Then you need to build a little bit more sophisticated use cases, which I talk about that. And most of those are available in one or other tool. Pick your basic tool. Now, if you want for adoption, you want to go across the services, across the org, beyond on technology spectrum, you probably need to do first in the shadow or pre-prod environment before. I won't recommend directly go to the production, because you really need to ensure that you have all the bells and vessels in place if you wanted to go in production. You have to put a lot of investment, and that investment is about tooling, investment about resources, investment about the priority. And once you have all this, you have to slowly start adopting that this culture, and having the culture as well as buying that, yeah, this is important thing for me and my product and my company is really important, because then only you will be able to grow and meet the need. So thanks to this massive growth in infrastructure, which made this reliability as a necessary attribute of application scale, today many companies are running these game days as well as the chaos days as a company-wide initiative. I've been privileged to participate as well as being able to contribute to that. And in fact, in Intuit, we had started chaos engineering, and we did build, I think, couple of solutions, and we have shared that in open source also. So companies' initiatives are really important. We do have a lot of commercial solutions also available. Gremlin is one of the very known. I've been using Gremlin from 2017-18, and it's a pretty nice solution about that. So now pick your tool and then get started. And CNCRF is recommending more than 8 sandbox project to get started on that, which bring a lot more focus on the chaos. Now, application resiliency and service stability has broadened the technology platform and cloud. So it is our chance to be part of this evolution. So this is one very interesting tweet I have seen in last KubeCon, and this talk about just a 1 year journey on the chaos engineering. It talk about that in 2020, Conf 42 has made Chaos Engineering as a focus Chaos conference. There is a book came out. Failover conference has been started by Gremlin, and then CNCF has two project Litmus and Chaos Smash. Chaos become part of AWS well architected framework, and FIS is the new name of that. From there, you have few releases and ChaosConf, which has been attended by more than 3,500 attendees. We have a new book came on the chaos security practices, and then CNCF has made the chaos as one of the top priority for 2021. StudyBit has been added as another landscape project in CNCF. And today, we all are here and talking about chaos, and attending Chaos Carnival is part of that same evolution. So, in a 1 year, if you look about that, so much things are happening. And here, I'm not able to get all the relevant data, but we have put the information where more than 500k plus test has been chaos experiment has been executed by various teams, companies, as well as the projects. This is the CNCF cloud native landscape for chaos engineering, where you could see that Litmus, Mash, Chaos Toolkit, Gremlin, StudyBit, PowerShell, they are being blessed, and we can have lot more futuristic perspective to make one of them or all of them become incubating project. So from here, looking future, I have only one slide to talk about. This is where CNCF call it out that chaos engineering is one of the top priority. And the next one is that AWS announced that FIS. So this is the evolution where Netflix started Chaos Monkey because AWS didn't have any solution on injecting chaos on that infrastructure. From there, AWS is coming and launching FIS not only for one customer to all their customer. This is a real buzz in cloud provider era. Chaos engineering become first class citizen and CNCF. That's how I call as a evolution. So many chaos conferences, awareness on social media is a new dimension, and we all are part of this evolution as we are attending Chaos Carnival. So let's look back to the evolution what I mentioned. So we have growth in this area. Lot more development is happening in terms of solution, jobs, awareness. We are learning from past. We have seen that 51% could be avoidable. How we are making those failures to a use case, how we are building those learning and adding those and making part of CNCF and contribute to that and create many opportunity is becoming a priority for these projects. From here, I see future looking really bright. This is evolution in chaos engineering, and I am part of this with you all. Thank you.
Thanks, Sumit. It was a very great presentation. Being from Litmus team, I actually learned a lot today as well about chaos engineering. Like knowing how it actually evolved, builds interest also. So yeah, thanks. We have some questions as well. We have time, so we can take some questions. So in Q&A, there is question. So what are the benefits of SaaS chaos as Gremlin and FIS versus open source solutions? As company size is a factor when selecting chaos solution.
Yeah, so you have to pick what suits you. I'm not a big supporter of picking any specific tool. You have to pick right tool for doing the right job. Now, every team, every company has their specific requirement. So if you go for a commercial solution, just ensure that your requirements being met. If you use open source, there is a definite benefit that if the requirement is there, you will be able to contribute not only for your need but to the larger community. And that was one of the reason we have picked Chaos Toolkit and the Litmus Chaos, where we not only use them, we customize for our use cases and we contributed back.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So next question is, so you mentioned CTK. So what are the main pros and cons of CTK versus Litmus?
CTK is so Chaos Toolkit is about the it's a framework. It is a framework where you can carry it out with the extension, and this CTK has various extension available. So Litmus Chaos has a very open API as well as a open setup, which talk about that bring your own framework. We work on Chaos Toolkit and build those use cases, build those changes, which was important for us for carrying out the Chaos experiment. Now, to start something from scratch, it was challenging. So we brought the whole Chaos Toolkit as a extension to the Litmus Chaos. So we are using Chaos Toolkit and Litmus. It's but again, you have to pick your use cases. So right now, if you have all the use cases being carried out in the Chaos Toolkit, you can easily use that. You can contribute to our project Litmus Python.
Okay. Okay. So there's a question from Ritik. So we have recently seen people building Kubernetes cluster on Raspberry Pi. So do you think that in future applying chaos to such small IoT devices is feasible or an overkill?
So with my limited knowledge, I can tell that as long as this IoT device has presence and it has impact on a failure, and that failure is correlated to the revenue loss or the productivity loss, we probably need to do something. But if it is not, you have to pick your battle, right? Like what is the thing which is important, and what is there is a one very good talk from Gene in one of the conference. He talked about core and context. So you need to pick what is core to you and what is context to you. If you think the Raspberry Pi specific solution is a core for you that bring revenue to you, you need to make sure that it will have a resilience in place.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, so I can see that there are many questions from Alexander. So I think we can invite him from on the stage. I think he has some very good questions too. So let me just try if I can. Yeah. Okay. Alexander, I have sent you an invite. You can join us. Yeah. Here's it.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How you are doing, Alex?
I'm great.
I hope you're enjoying Chaos Carnival.
Of course. Excuse me?
I hope you're enjoying Chaos Carnival.
Yeah, really enjoying, and I'm asking a lot of questions.
Yeah, no problem. I will try to address as many. Otherwise, I will go on backstage, or I can talk on Slack. But if you can ask one or two, I will try to see.
No problem. So let me see what you didn't read yet. Okay. So can you list some of the big companies that use? I call it chaos helper tools like the Gremlin, Litmus, or CTK. I mean, really big companies, not small companies.
Yeah. So again, I can talk about me and my company. We use CTK. We use Litmus Chaos. We have experimented with Gremlin. We have experimented with the Chaos Mesh. So I can talk about me. I don't know about other companies how they are using. There is a information available as a contribution as well as adopter list on these these tools, you can go and probably check who all are the adopters for that. That probably give you the information.
Okay, thank you. So, do you know companies that develop their own solutions to Chaos, like Netflix back then?
Yeah, so Netflix is again way ahead in the chaos because from 2010 they started. So they definitely have their own use cases as well as they have spent good amount of time. Other places we started in last couple of years. So it is up to the engineering org to decide that they pick a tool or they start building your own. My only guidance, something is available, if possible contribute, build your use cases and put it in the open source so that you can get a lot more feedback. um, if you wanted to go for commercial solution, that's also possible and you can use that, but use your use cases. I think use cases are really important because every company has a compliance guidance, security guidance, as well as their framework and the application use cases, which is not matching with the others. So you pick your brain on those use cases and uh, pick what is applicable to you.
Okay, thank you. And one additional question, something more high level. So, for example, as I understand, in your company, you have quite a lot of experiment that you already implemented and run in production. Am I right?
So we are right now not doing in production, to be very open and candid. We are doing in a pre-prod environment, or we call our dog food cluster. We have close to I think 40 plus scenarios, 45 plus scenarios, which talk about application, Kubernetes, and cloud. So these were the scenarios we have built and carried out in the Chaos toolkit. And later point of time, we created the Kubernetes based injection via Litmus Chaos. And we
Okay.
made everything automated. We created as part of pipeline, and we are working on GitOps for Chaos also.
So what is the reason that you are not progressing to production?
So I was working as a reliability engineer, and our job was to certify the platform. We did that. Now we are planning to roll it out. There is a dedicated team in company. They are working out and they are figuring out how we can roll it out, how we can onboard, because that is the biggest challenge, that how you onboard and how you can provide support, so that we have hundreds of cluster, how we can get on 100 of cluster, and what all the other wells and vessels we need to ensure that it should not impact production. So you have to have the right maturity model when you are taking to the production.
Okay, so what you're basically saying, you need the appropriate tooling when you're going to production.
Yep.
That leads me to a last question, and I don't want to waste time of all the people. Okay, for those experiments that you have, how do you manage the documentation? You told that you have like 45 experiments, that you probably more than one iteration on each of them in order to fix things, and you update the experiments. How do you manage all the related documentation and versioning of all those experiments?
So I shared a talk in the KubeCon about the chaos workflows. So anything and everything you have to automate. That's a basic thing. Okay. So first part is that you cannot go and execute 44 or 45 manually. So you need to have some kind of automation in place. So we have automation in place, and that automation we are executing via Jenkins. Now coming back to the documentation, we have documented almost 11 or 12 different use cases back to the Litmus Chaos, how you can do the setup, how you can execute. There are remaining close to, I think, 20, 30 scenarios are there, which we are not contributed back, which we need to do that. But the core concept is that we have documented everything if someone wanted to get started. But the core part is that you cannot carry out one chaos experiment, second chaos experiment. You have to automate. And to automate chaos workflows are one of the very essential thing. You still need to maintain the documentation, but through workflow you will be able to club the similar kind of scenarios. We club the application, platform, and cloud, three pipeline we conduct, and everything will be executed in one go. Is that
Thank
answer?
you. Yeah.
Please check.
That's a great question, but I want to specify maybe the question. Okay,
Sure.
you talked about workflows. Workflows are like rules of execution. I'm talking about the documentation of what when you're planning the experiments, or you're saying, hey, I want to perform this experiment. What are my risks? What is a blast radius? What is my steady state? What is your communication with other team? How do you communicate it? So, in my opinion, all of this should be somehow documented in order to use this data in the future, maybe analyze it.
Yep. No, you are right. You are right. So that's the way how we build a use case. So when we build the use case, all these things which you mentioned, we put it in the experiment. Now communication and percolating this change across the org or the services, probably that part we are not doing because we are in a pre-prod. But if we go in prod, we probably need to have a little bit more coordination, more information sharing, and more towards the impact of rolling out this change or carrying out this chaos experiment.
Thank you. Great answer.
Please check the documentation what we have put for Litmus, because there are more than 12 different experiment we added, and there is a demo GitHub project there in the Litmus. You try that if you wanted to get started, which talk about how we can create a workflow out of that.
Thank you.
Okay. Are you able to exit from the stage? Okay. There. So okay, we have good number of questions here also. So do you have time, or like we can like shift them to Slack channel as well?
We can do in the Slack channel, or if you want, I can stay another 7 minutes.
Okay. We can take one more question. So there is one question from Om. So what is your opinion on security chaos engineering?
Yeah, so I think I have very limited knowledge and I have to read more about that. But on the security, the chaos is getting a lot more attraction, and I think one of the reason of that is that we see there are a lot of outages and the failures are happening because of cyber attack, patch, AMI rotation, and whatnot. Andrian has actually today in morning mentioned that this is right now the biggest needle mover, which is bringing the outages. So security with the chaos is getting attraction. I'm not sure when the DevSec make chaos as one of the important attribute. So I have limited knowledge on that, and I have not carried out anything on the security. The only thing what we are able to do that how we can make carry out the chaos engineering on a Kubernetes to handle the security. That was the only part where I was involved in that.
Okay. We have noted other questions. I think we can close. Okay. So thanks, Sumit. It was a very great session. We have actually learned a lot. So yeah. So guys, yeah.
And thank you everyone for attending this. It's really an honor to be part of this, and I will try to give answer as many I will get. Thank you, and enjoy Chaos Carnival.
Yeah. So guys, we are closing in, and if you have some unanswered questions, you can reach us on the Slack channels, and we will take your questions there. And yeah, enjoy Chaos Carnival. There is a lot to